The new Snow White lady, who is notably not white, so we call her sand beige. Sandy taupe. This lady is thrilled that they're remaking Snow White, not just in the new casting decisions, but remaking the whole movie, because she says that Snow White is dated.
The cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power and what a woman is fit for in the world. And so when we came to reimagining the actual role of Snow White, it became about the fairest of them all, meaning who is the most just and who can become a fantastic leader. And the reality is, Snow White has to learn a lot of lessons about coming into her own power before she can come into power over a kingdom.
Also, the fact that she's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's the proactive one, and she's the one who set the terms, is what makes it so relevant to where we are today.
Not even going to comment on the way that they've rewritten the script to take out all those terrible things like beauty and love. Who wants Snow White with beauty and love when we can talk about girl bosses? Isn't that captivating? Can't you wait to just run out to the theaters and get your popcorn? And no, I don't think so. Forget that for a second. She says they rewrote the story because Snow White is extremely dated. Dated. What does that mean, to be dated? She's saying it like it's a bad thing. It's bad to be dated. Isn't it only bad for a thing to be dated if the time that we're living in is better than the time that the dated thing existed in? In other words, if we were living in this wonderful age where everyone was thriving and things were beautiful and just and good and virtuous, and then you looked back at some other time in history and you pointed to some vestige of that and you said, oh, that's so dated from that time. And that other time was a really awful, terrible time where everything was ugly and decaying and vicious and evil. And well, then it would be bad for something to be dated to that time. But what if the time that we were living in right now is worse by almost every measure than the time to which this thing we're criticizing is dated? Then dated would be a good thing. And then we'd say, oh, that's so dated from this much better time that can maybe give us a guidepost as to how to get out of the dumb age that we're living in. By virtually every measure, 1937 was a better time that was more conducive to human flourishing and virtue than today is. And we can look through all the social scientific data on this. We're not having any kids anymore. The civilization is literally dying. People are much more depressed. People are much more anxious. The suicide rates are much higher. People are reporting much lower rates of happiness and satisfaction. You look at all the social science. And then you look at the harder facts, which we see a little bit in people were having bigger families. People were building beautiful things. The culture was physically more beautiful. You had better buildings, better artwork coming up. You had people, therefore, a little more hopeful about the future. What you're always going to hear when you bring that up is people going to say, yeah, but back in the past, there were separate water fountains for white and black people, or something. They'll point to some bad thing, some sort of unpleasant feature of the past. They'll say, see? And if in the case of 1937, that's pretty much it. This is before World War II. Got the end of the Great Depression on the horizon. And by the way, material hardship is not intrinsically immoral or anything like that. But even then, yeah, you say, okay, well, what about that, huh? Back then, they had different water fountains for white and black people. Okay, now we kill 800,000 babies a year. Now we chop little kids' genitals off. Now we don't have any hope for the future or any patriotism. The rates of those things are declining precipitously. Now we don't have national borders. Now we don't speak the same language. Now we this, now we that. Oh, did I mention we kill 800,000 babies a year? You're really going to tell me, oh no, we're living in the best time. You just don't understand. This is what the liberals always say. The liberals on the left, and even the liberals on the right, the kind of center-right people, oh, come on, let's stop complaining. We're living in the best time. They often adopt the premises and the language of the left. No. 1937, America had its act much more together than it does now. Snow White is dated? Yeah, I guess so. Let's go watch that movie. Maybe we can learn a thing or two. Right now, go to grillblazer.com/Knowles. Use promo code Knowles. Grill Blazer's grill guns are designed to do everything from lighting my cigars to lighting my other cigars. You could also use them to expertly sear your meat, light charcoal grills, wood stoves, outdoor fireplaces, just about anything you can think of for which you would need high power fire. Grill Blazers offers two types of grill guns. The Grill Gun Basic is a high-power propane torch designed to light charcoal and wood grills and smokers. Burns up to 3,600 degrees, which is the average temperature of Phoenix, Arizona in the month of July. Its 30-inch flame is for anything that you need a big bad torch to do. And then there's the cute little sous vide gun. It's got a little bit of a shorter barrel, perfect for professional culinary kitchen uses, from gently caramelizing brûlée or other sugars and fruits to rapidly searing steaks outside on the grill. Using the grill gun may result in extreme grill envy from your neighbors, so user discretion advised. Get your grill gun from Grill Blazers today. Let the grilling adventures begin. Grillblazer.com/Knowles. Use promo code Knowles for 15% off your order. Grillblazer.com/Knowles. Promo code Knowles for 15% off your order. Dog meat farmers in South Korea are pushing back on a potential ban. South Korea wants to ban dog meat. I don't like dogs. I don't. Some people ask, are you a dog person? Are you a cat person? I'm not. I'm a people person. I like people. I don't really care for pets that much. I don't hate them. They don't make me angry, but I just don't like them. And yet, people should not eat dog. Libs think we should be able to eat dogs. Utilitarians think we ought to be able to eat dogs. Materialists think we ought to be able to eat dogs. Because, it's just meat. These people probably think we should eat humans. But we should not eat dogs. And the reason it's wrong to eat dogs, and the reason the South Korean dog farmers are wrong, and the reason that the people trying to reform this are right, is because that's not what dogs are for. Dogs are there to be man's best friend. They're not my best friend, but broadly they are man's best friend. They were bred to be man's best friend. And that's why it's especially cruel, in a way that it's not cruel to kill and eat a cow, kill and eat a pig, kill and eat a chicken. The dogs are there and were bred, even if you just want to look at a purely historical, evolutionary kind of view of it, to say nothing of a deeper philosophical view. They're there to be our mate and our help and our buddies and our companions. And it's wrong to eat them. That's why it feels wrong to eat a dog. I've never tried eating a dog, but that's why I would not be inclined to eat a dog, even though I don't like them all that much. It's the C.S. Lewis argument for it. It's not that dogs have rights. They don't. It's not that animals have rights broadly. They don't. But when we do things like torture animals, or when we do things like eat dogs, it deadens our humanity because we are violating a kind of metaphysical concord that we have with dogs, and we're violating the proper order of nature and the ends to which these things are ordered. Boy, what a great clip that was. Now, make sure you ring that bell, subscribe to this very YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.